Hey there! One of the newer concepts of lore that came with the War Within is that of the Black Blood. So what exactly is the Black Blood, and how is it relevant to our player characters? The Black Blood, for the most part, is blood that was spilled during the time of the Black Empire, where the old gods waged war against each other for control of their various regions. This blood then spilled into the ground and got absorbed deep within the earth, where it remained pretty much just a crystallized and harmless substance. In fact, it was effectively so harmless that the Harrenir as a whole disregarded its potential danger when Owena tried to warn them, which is what would eventually lead to her heading into Khazar, with other Harrenir we encounter only having followed her out of fear that she would be harmed or expose their identity. When Sargeras' sword ended up striking the planet at the end of Legion, it caused the black blood to boil back up from the surface, like when you strike the ground after a hard rain and an underground puddle bursts to the surface. The blood even started to rain from the ceiling of the caverns within Hallowfall, and this would lead to the Cobus becoming even more aggressive, something that is referenced in-game via side quests with the Cobus. We would later see its effects manifest more when we arrived in Oz-Khahet, with the black blood there corrupting and twisting all forms of wildlife that it came into contact with, such as the roots that the Harrenir are sworn to protect. Surprisingly enough, the black blood is alive in a way, just like Azerite, with bubbling elementals of it forming in areas that has coalesced. We also know that the black blood is a key part of the ascension process for Nerubians, a process that mutates them so much that their bodies stop producing pheromones, something that is vital to Nerubian biology and culture. Interestingly enough, another race in World of Warcraft was warped by pure void magic and now has a deep purplish black blood. The mutation even caused the race to lose characteristics of their former selves, as their skin and hair colors, as well as the added bonus, if you can call it that, which causes these people to become more erratic and violent, if they can't keep maddening whispers at bay. If you have not figured it out by now, that race is the playable allied race of the Void Elves. In-game, Void Elves no longer bleed red like Blood and High Elves, but instead they bleed a deep and thick purple color that is unique to them. We also know that the Ethereals were intentionally trying to ascend the Void Elves into a more pure being, like Ethereals, when we ended up interrupting that ritual into Logus Rift. With the Void Elves set to get a larger role in future patches, and for sure within Midnight, I can't help but shake the feeling that the concepts of the Black Blood and mutation through the Void to ascend people will be brought up again. In fact, we even had hints of a similar story in Dragonflight, but instead it was Arcane mutating things. Back to Void Elves though, we do know that there was a vision from N'Zoth about the Void Elves no longer being able to control their whispers and leading a full-on assault of Stormwind, which could, in a roundabout way, have been a bit of foreshadowing for the storylines to come in Midnight, since, as we see in the War Within, the Ascended Nerubians can be commanded without hesitation by Xal'atath, completely disregarding the free will of the Ascended Nerubian and sending them into a violent rampage. You could also make the argument about Illyria not snapping though. However, she not only spent hundreds of years learning how to control herself, she is also a very different kind of Void Elf from the traditional player Void Elves. The more Blueberry Elves that we first got are the ones who have undergone a similar ascension process to the Nerubians, whereas the High Elf looking Void Elves just absorbed a large amount of Void magic on their own free will, like Illyria does within the story. But what do you all think of this potential, and more importantly, how do you think the story will go with the Black Blood and the Void Elves going forward?